Welcome to the Issachar Hour. My name is Linda Dominique Grosvenor Holland, and I thank you for joining me here today. I wanted to pretty much just go into sharing some of the things that the Lord has given me concerning 2017. And what we've already been hearing is that 2017 is the year of harvest. I released a word about that in my newsletter going into February. And what it said, in essence, is that this is the year of harvest. And it talked pretty much about the fact that when other people are slowing down in January, near the end of January, we put all these New Year's resolutions into place. And as they begin to slow down because they don't know Him, we're going to have that acceleration. We're going to have that increase. And we're going to be full steam ahead on the promises of God. Okay. And right before I hit record on this message, I saw a vision of, and I don't even know what it was. It was just like a whole bunch of something coming around the bend. Like looking down the road, I can see things coming around the bend, like they were getting ready to surge up the road and just descend on whatever it was. And the Lord said, those are customers, those are clients, and they're coming. So He said, not just for me, but He said to just release that word so that by faith you will get that the customers and the clients that you need are coming. Okay? Now, the other thing He started mentioning to me is that doctors will begin leaving hospitals for private practices. He said ownership is essential in this season. We're moving away from that time where we're expecting someone to pay us, expecting a paycheck, and we have to move where God is taking us. And right now, that is in the realm of ownership, whether it's business, whether it's homes. Ownership is key in this season, and the harvest from what you've planted is going to get you there. He said, you've toiled, you've been assaulted, you've forgiven. Now, God is going to fill your fields with plenty so you can harvest it, and then you can move out on what He's telling you to do, whether it's private practice, launching a business, launching a service, but get in place to do what He's saying to do. Okay? Media with pertinent prophecy is coming. And He's saying the kind of prophecy that's going to be released by a lot of these media outlets is prophetic words that once you hear it within a day or two, it's going to come to pass. So that's the kind of timely, pertinent stuff He's talking about. And that's the timely, pertinent media outlets that He's raising up right now in this season. So you want to be aware, you want to be in the midst of it. And that's one of the reasons why I launched the Issachar Hour, because the Lord has been saying, okay, you need something so that when I tell you something, it's being released to all of those who are plugged in to what I'm saying, who want to hear what I'm saying, and who are following the show. Okay, so if you got this message, someone inboxed it to you, you saw it on Twitter, Facebook, what have you, you want to click subscribe, because there are specific people that God is saying, okay, you need to get them on the show. They need to speak and release what I'm saying right now. Okay. And the thing that I love about it is that when they come, then you have some place that you can come to that is reliable, that you know you're hearing what God is saying. And I'm telling you, I make it a practice to just surrender myself to the Lord so that He can share with me what He desires for me to share with you all. Okay. And this is the other thing. I started seeing like a whole lot of movement, like boxes, suitcases, people packing. And what one of the things He was just showing me as He was telling me, if the Lord is uprooting you, He's doing it to get you more nourishment, more watering, and more increase. And He always gives me an analogy. So the thing He said is that you don't repot or uproot a plant unless two things: one, it's outgrown where it currently is, and two, to give it an opportunity for exponential growth. Okay, so if God is moving you from a city, a state, a country, be obedient to that move, because you've outgrown where you are. And that's what he's saying. And two, there's exponential opportunity where he is sending you. You don't want to miss that. I'm telling you. He's saying if you do not prepare, you're going to be enslaved. Now, when I say prepared, I'm going back to the message he gave me about harvest and the ownership. He wants you to own a business. He wants you to own a service and own an idea. And I've come across people who say, well, I'm not business savvy. I'm not, I don't have a desire to start my own business. You don't have to start a business to have an idea. There are many people who get ideas and then sell their idea and then cast a check. So maybe that's what he's calling you to do. But don't sit on an idea that you know God has given you, because harvest is not going to come until you put that seed in the ground. And the seed is the obedience to what God is telling you to do. If he's telling you to write a book, that is your seed. You cannot see harvest on a book that you won't write, that you won't make time to write, but you're on Facebook writing like a whole book because you're posting every day. Get busy with planting the seed of your book. Same thing for a service. And if he's giving you an idea for a business, go ahead. Okay, he said, if you do not prepare, you are going to be enslaved. You will be a slave to those who lend with high interest rates. And he's been saying, get ready business wise heavily to me, speaking prophetically, for 2 or more years. So I've been telling my coaching clients, I've been telling my networking group, God is saying, prepare. Did you launch that book yet? And people probably really get annoyed when I'm inboxing them and asking them, did you write your book yet? Did you finish your book? Did you start? What's going on with your business? And they may be getting upset with me because of that, but I'm being obedient to the Lord. You see, he doesn't want anybody to be left behind. Okay, he doesn't want anybody to be left behind. So we have to make sure that we're doing exactly what he's saying to do to see the increase, because you can't jump on a prophecy of increase when you're being disobedient to what he called you to do. Okay, so back to the ownership. He's saying you need to own something. He said, ask me and I will tell you, saith the Lord. He said, I will give you ideas that you can act on quickly. Okay. And even as he was saying that part, right after that, he began showing me rents are going to increase in a weird way. So you're going to be places that are like, okay, for instance, I was living in a part of North Carolina. It was on the Durham Chapel Hill border. And I don't think I was paying any more than $500 for my studio apartment. So there are going to be places you go to and you're like, it's affordable rent here. You're going to love it here. The rents are not high. And all of a sudden they're going to get weird and high. Okay. So the Lord is saying, map out a plan. Map out a plan for land, map out a plan for home ownership, map out a plan so you don't get stuck being enslaved to those who lend, to those who rent, to those who can lay you off of a job. He said, some of you have lived in an apartment all your life. Okay. And now you're 40 or you're in your 50s and you have an urge to buy a home at 50 years old. You have an urge to build a home. He said, that's me. I'm leading you. That's what the Lord is saying. He said, you need to be in the season of ownership, house, self-employment, that kind of thing. And I released a word concerning, I released it to my clients concerning the Grow Your Dreams Prophetic Business Conference 2018. Okay. And what the Lord is saying is that we're in the season now where you have to have a business, not, start a business. It may be a good idea sometime down the line. He's saying now is a season that you need to have your business up and running. And that's pretty much the word that I released to them. And I told them that God is saying that at the 2018 conference, there's going to be unprecedented power. Unprecedented power. Okay, if you want to get more information about that, growyourdreamsconference.com is the website. But the bottom line is that God wants to break poverty off of your life. And I can say that because he did it for me. So my word to you in closing is sow. Sowing broke poverty off my life. And you see, it's such a tricky thing because many people are of the mindset, well, I don't have anything to sow or I don't have enough to sow. Start sowing something. As you break poverty off your life through sowing what you have, increase can now come because poverty doesn't have a stranglehold on your life, on your legacy, on your paycheck. I mean, it was just wild the way January started off for me financially. I have never in all the years of business seen the increase that I've seen coming in this past January 2017. So you have to stop letting the enemy trick you. I don't have anything to sow. This is my last. Sometimes when you sow your last, God knows, but sometimes when you sow your last, it will blow your mind how quickly God turns that financial situation around. But the enemy wants to keep us scared about money because he doesn't want us to own anything. He doesn't want us to birth anything. But most of all, he doesn't want us to be obedient to what the Lord is saying. And he's saying you have to build up these businesses. But in order to do that, you need finances. Sewing will do that for you. If you're not a fan of sewing, if you get turned off every time somebody starts talking about sewing because you think they're talking about money, 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 the bottom line is you can't do anything without money. You cannot walk up to an auction at a home or of a car and say, I want a car, I want a house. You have to have something to put down on that car. You have to have something to put down on that house. And that's what God is trying to do. He's giving us ideas, but through sowing, he will break the chains that have been holding your wallet, your debit card, your 401k, all those things hostage and release that so the harvest can come forth. Remember, there's nothing you can get if you do not put seeds in the ground, and the seeds are your obedience. The obedience is what God is telling you to do, not what he's telling your cousin to do, your uncle to do, what he's specifically saying for you to do. So if you get one thing from this message today, let that be, this is the season of ownership. Own your employment. Own your own home, own some land, be able to call the shots for yourself. Because if your business goes out of business or your job goes out of business tomorrow, what you have is nothing. What you have is litigating for your last paycheck. What you have is a catastrophe. And for some, homelessness even. You need to create your own streams of income, your own money flow. You need to sow. You need to own. I'm telling you, start that business, write that book. Don't look at what other people are doing. Do specifically what the Lord is telling you to do, and he's going to bless it. I'm telling you what I know. Believe this and receive it in the name of Jesus. My name is Linda Dominique Grosvenor Holland, and I thank you for joining us for the Issachar Hour. If you'd like to share what the Lord is saying, just click share on this episode to share it with your Twitter and Facebook family. If you'd like to support the show financially or advertise with permanent placement on an episode, go to theissacharhour.com and click for more information. It's my prayer that you would have eyes to see and ears to hear. If you don't already have it, ask for it and receive it by faith. But most of all, remain in God's timing.